Okay, first I'd like to just welcome you to this webinar. My name is Justin Boydston. I'll be your presenter here today. And if you're on this page, you might have been invited or you might have just accidentally stumbled across it, but more than likely you're looking for a change in your life, especially if you stumbled across it or somebody sent you, because people that know and love and care about you will send you the information that they think can benefit you. And if you're looking for a change and you search for it, you might have stumbled across this site that way. Well, here's the thing. 8 years ago, I was looking for a change and I found it. So the information that I'm going to deliver to you today is the same information that changed the direction of my life 8 years ago. So let's just dive right into it. Here's what we're going to cover today. Realities of today, recent statistics, what your choices are, things to consider, what we do, ways to earn income, and action steps. Okay, let's start with realities of today. Obviously, we've got increasing financial demands. Things are always on the rise. Less time with our families because of those financial demands. Working more hours for less pay. Lack of job security. I've had several friends just recently get laid off at jobs they've been at for 20, 30, 40 years. And when you are 40 years older in the workforce, it's much harder to get a job. So it's devastating for them. We're going to offer a solution to that here today. Rising cost of childcare, $7,000 annually and rising fast, and spending more money than we make. Okay, here's a recent statistic. 95% of Americans are either dead or dead broke by the age of 65, according to our own U.S. government statistics. That's really sad to me that people put all this time into a company, they work hard with the dream of having a good retirement, and they either die before they get there, or when it is time to get there, even if they're still alive, they don't have the money to be able to retire. According to the USA Today, to retire on an annual income of $50,000 a year, you'll need $1 million in the bank to do that. Now, $50,000 a year really is just barely getting by nowadays. By the time I retire 15, 20 years, we won't even be getting by. So this formula doesn't work for me, but just in case you think it works for you, let's see if you're on track. If you want to have that $1 million in the bank by the time you retire, at the age of 35, you need to be putting back $1,026 a month. At the age of 45, you need to be putting back $2,225 a month. And at the age of 50, you need to be putting back almost $3,500. So that just kind of gives you a gauge, a reference point to know if you're on track or not. Good news is even if you're behind, I'm going to show you a way to get caught up here today. At $7.50 an hour, and the average annual working hours for an individual is typically 2,080 hours. That equals $15,600. We know that that's not enough to even get by nowadays, but those are the facts. And I don't know if $7.50 an hour is minimum wage nowadays. I haven't participated in the W-2 system in a long time, and I don't ever plan on participating in it again. But that's just kind of to give you a reference point. What this is created in our country today, though, is the average family is spending more than they make. As a matter of fact, studies show that for every dollar that they earn, the average American family spends $1.22. Dollar in, $1.22 out, dollar in, $1.22 out. That's a recipe for financial disaster. And that's why so many families now have huge credit card debt, and they're doing things on credit cards that they shouldn't be because they just don't make enough to survive. So what are your choices? Well, you can work for somebody else, get that second or third job. You can buy a small business, but I've been a small business owner for a long time. If they're not passing that business on to a family member, there's probably something wrong with it. You can buy a franchise. Most of the good ones are taken. If you do find a good one that's not already in your area, you can expect to spend about $500,000 just for the franchise fee before you even think about opening that business. You can hope and pray that you win the lottery. I know the odds aren't good there, so that's definitely not even a consideration for myself. Or you can start a home-based business. According to a recent survey that Forbes magazine did, 86% of Americans would prefer to work for themselves. And this is why we're seeing such a massive trend of people starting their own home-based business, because it offers a much lower startup cost and a much higher success rate. So you might be asking yourself, is it possible for me to start a successful home-based business? And I think by the end of this presentation, you'll know the answer to that. On average, 85% of home-based businesses are successful after only 3 years. Now, That's just the averages. You don't have to wait 3 years to become successful. Mine's been successful from day one, and it's been successful for the entire 8 years that I've been involved in the industry. The average annual income for a home-based business owner is $62,563 for those who do it full-time, or $44,000 for those who do it part-time. Compare that to the average wage, which is a little under $45,000. You can see that even a part-time, spare-time home-based business can replace the average income in our country today. 20% of home-based business owners earn between $100,000 and $500,000 annually, according to a survey done by Money Magazine. Now, you may not even be thinking of numbers that large, but it's nice to know that it's possible. It's nice to know that you can do it. When you're trading hours for money, it's not possible. Somebody else is determining what an hour of your time is worth, and you're cramming as many hours as you can into a pay period, and there's only so many hours in a day, so it just doesn't add up. These stats are just one of the reasons why so many people are starting their own home-based business. Another reason, and I think a very important reason, is take control of their time. When I saw this industry for the first time, I already had several successful businesses that I was running, and money was great. We were making lots of money, but I also went 6 consecutive years without a day off, and I was miserable. I hated what I did. I hated the hours I was putting in, but I felt stuck by that big lifestyle. So what I decided, there has to be a way to have time freedom, but to also not sacrifice the income. And that's what this industry has done for me and my family. So here's some things to consider, though. Don't just join any opportunity. There's ads all over social media. There's ads all over the internet. There's some very good companies in this industry. There's also some very bad ones. So here's some things you want to consider before you start with any home-based business. Pardon me. First, you need a solid company that offers a product and service that has a real need in the marketplace. And also, it needs to be something that you can personally get passionate about. It also needs to have a leveraged compensation plan so that you have that freedom. Very little overhead. That's important. A system that allows anyone to succeed in it so that it duplicates. And residual income is a must. This is not even up for debate. And I'm talking true residual income, not reorders, where you do something one time and you get paid over and over again for what you did that one time. And then potential for future growth is a must for me also. Historically, when our country experiences an imbalance, we create a solution for that imbalance. For example, today, medical costs far exceed the average American wage in our country today, so we created health insurance. Vehicle repair also far exceeds wages, so we created automobile insurance. These are systems which people pay a small amount of money into on a monthly basis, and knowing that not everybody's going to need to use it at the same time, this creates a cash reserve that people can tap into when they need services rendered. I think you'd agree with me that if you'd gotten involved with health insurance or automobile insurance as one of the founding people before it was saturated, before there was lots of competition, you would have realized a tremendous profit. The bad news is we missed that one. But there is some good news. This imbalance is happening in our country again right now, and it's larger than the health and automobile industries combined. The cost of having access to the justice system far outweighs the average wage in our country today. That's another imbalance. Did you know that you're almost 3 times more likely to wind up in court than you are to wind up in the hospital? Just like with medical and auto, we created a system to fix it, and we call that system Legal Shield. The good news is you didn't miss this one. We're just on the leading edge of this. But Europe, on the other hand, has approximately 80% saturation. Most people in that country already have it. But in the U.S., only about 3%, actually less than 3%, currently own a service like this. So have you ever signed a contract or a document that you didn't have an attorney review? Maybe you didn't review it, and more than likely, even if you read it the way the contracts are written, we probably wouldn't have understood it anyways. Have you ever been treated unfairly or maybe overcharged for something? Have you ever received a traffic ticket? Have you ever been or known a victim of identity theft? Have you ever been in a situation where you thought the advice of an attorney would have been useful? What if you could access top-rated law firms without making that financial decision to do so? The average attorney where I live is about $250 to $300. In bigger areas, it's much more expensive than that. But if I could access them for situations like these without making that financial decision, I absolutely would do so, and I have done so for a very long time. Let's say that you or any of your covered family members needs legal advice for any law anywhere across the nation. You can call for 12 to 15 matters tomorrow. Doesn't matter, as long as it's different matters. They're going to consult you. They're going to advise you. They're going to make sure that you understand it, know what your rights are on each and every one of those different topic matters, and you'll never receive a bill for that. Let's say maybe you need a letter or a phone call written on your behalf, or one of your covered family members does. They're also going to do that. They're not going to just explain your rights to you. They're going to help you exercise those rights whenever necessary. Maybe you need a contract or a document reviewed. Maybe you need access to a legal form. Something as simple as a bill of sale. They're nice to have, but we don't always have one right in front of us. Well, with this, you have it in your member back office at any time. You can go in, fill it out, print it off. You both sign it, done. Maybe you don't understand it. You can send it in, or you can call in and they'll explain it to you and make sure you do understand it. And again, you can send it in and have it reviewed after you have it done to make sure that you did it right. And then we also are very passionate about getting your estate in order. We know that statistically 85% of Americans do not have this done, and we need to get this done. Not just your will, but also your living will and your healthcare power of attorney, so that everything's truly in order. Everybody on this webinar, we all have one thing in common, and that's that we're all going to die at some point in time, and that's traumatic for the ones that we leave behind. So I want to make it as smooth and as easy as I can for the ones that I leave behind. So I definitely have my estate in order. I'm very passionate about helping everybody else get their estate in order. Now you know you can do that without making a financial decision. Let's say that you have a traumatic situation, maybe after hours. Our company understands that bad things happen to good people all the time, and it doesn't always happen from 9 to 5. So in those emergency situations, such as maybe you're in a severe auto accident at midnight on a Sunday night and somebody died as a result of that accident, and the officer's trying to say that you caused it. That's a traumatic emergency situation where you want to call an attorney now, not tomorrow morning. Maybe CPS shows up to take your kids, or maybe an officer shows up at your doorstep with a warrant for your arrest. Those are emergency situations where you need access now. You get access with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year in those types of situations. What about those traffic issues? Maybe you have some teenage drivers. Maybe you just like to drive like a teenager. Whatever it might be, you now have a law firm all across the nation to defend you, to keep your record clear, to make sure that you get the best insurance premiums available in our country today. Now, please note that these services are available 15 days after enrollment. And again, let's reference back to that automobile accident at 12 o'clock on a Sunday night. That happened to you. The officer was trying to say it's your fault. As long as you or that covered family member is driving legally, which means licensed, registered, sober, and insured, we're going to provide an AV-rated attorney, that's Adam Victor, AV-rated attorney, to defend you start to finish in that case. Now, what does AV mean? Well, that's the highest rating that an attorney can achieve according to Martindale-Hubbell. So they're the best of the best, and they're going to represent you start to finish, again, without you making that financial decision. Maybe you're being sued civilly. We live in the most litigious society in the history of the world. There's almost 200 lawsuits filed every minute of every day in this country today, and that's because it's now cheaper to settle than it is to fight. But with us, you have a bank of hours. You can defend your good name. You can fight. Let's say that your family needs domestic services. We're very excited about these because it's a new addition to our plan very recently. These services are available 90 days after you become a member, and they include uncontested divorce, uncontested adoption, uncontested separation annulment, and uncontested name change. Just take uncontested adoption. I'm really excited about this one because there's so many good kids in this country that need a good home, and so many good homes that would love to give it to them. But since it's so expensive to adopt in this country, we go to other countries and do it. Now, with this, we take the legal expense out of that. I believe we can dramatically change the number of adoptions in this country today. We just need to let more people know that this membership exists. Let's say that you're named in an IRS audit. I've been down that road. That's very scary. You definitely don't want to go through that without a board certified tax attorney right there with you every step of the way. We've even built a referral network of attorneys that agree to give you a 25% member discount on things that fall outside of our 100% protection that we just talked about on the previous slide. But statistically, 90% of our member inquiries are covered under the plan with no additional fees. Now, this is family protection. I've referenced that a few times, and it does protect you nationwide. So you might be wondering, who is a covered family member? Well, let's talk about that. Obviously, the member's spouse, never married dependent children living at home up to the age of 26, dependent children of whom you become legal guardian of up to the age of 18, full-time college students up to the age of 26, regardless of where they live, never married, and physically or mentally disabled children living at home. We've also partnered up with Kroll Solutions to offer identity theft protection. Legal Shield truly cares about its members. And when there's a huge epidemic in our country that's affecting their members, they want to do their best to help be a solution to that problem. So about a decade ago, we partnered up with Kroll Solutions to offer this identity theft protection. It's been the #1 consumer complaint for 14 consecutive years now. And Kroll is the leading risk management company in the world. They're used to representing Fortune 500 companies and even countries, and now they exclusively offer identity theft protection to Legal Shield members, and by the way, at an exclusive rate as well. So here are a few things to be aware of when you're looking for identity theft protection. #1, only a percentage of identity theft is financial related, although the commercials would lead you to believe otherwise. So you need a plan that proactively monitors and searches all areas of your identity, not just financial. You also need a plan that offers complete and total restoration. I believe everybody in this country is busy. We don't have time to go in there and try to figure out how to restore it ourselves and do that work. Even if they send us a kit that explains how we do it, the average lost time from work is about 600 hours in getting that done. I don't believe people can afford to do that. So you need a plan that offers complete and total restoration. Also, many identity theft cases turn very serious in legal nature. So it's really nice to have Legal Shield and the identity theft protection offered through Kroll to put that complete wall of security around you and your family. In addition, our members also enjoy great discounts at these great companies as well: Office Depot, Dell, HP, National and Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Quicken Loans, Vehicle Advantage, Super Shuttle, and CLC Lodging. Just the CLC Lodging benefit alone saved me over $3,000 last year on destinations I was going to travel to anyways and the locations I was going to stay at anyways. But just by being a Legal Shield member, I was offered those deep savings, and we enjoyed them very much as a family. So how much does all of this cost? We've covered a lot of services here. So you might be getting a little bit nervous about what this is going to cost. I know when I heard this for the first time, before they told me what it costs, I was thinking, I can't afford this. It's neat, but I can't afford it. Well, I'm proud to tell you that we're able to offer all of these services that I just spoke about for less than $30 a month. I think that's pretty incredible, especially when you think about our competitors in the identity theft arena. They charge more than that for a member and a spouse just in identity theft and don't even offer any legal services. That's about $1 a day. I decided my family's worth that. I think your family's worth that. I think this is a pretty easy decision for most people. So who do you know that has children, that's had their identity compromised, that needs to prepare and update their will? Maybe they own a business. They could all benefit from Legal Shield right now. They need these services. So why join Legal Shield as a career, as a profession? Well, most people obviously are doing it for income. In my case, I was doing it for time. But when you have both, it gives you that freedom that I spoke about earlier. The market potential is incredible. The laws get more complicated and more expensive every day, and identity theft gets worse every day. And that creates a huge customer need that's just a perfect storm for business. We're actually transitioning the way legal services are delivered in this country today. And the economic environment, it's not great, but we will recover. We're the greatest country in the world. but you don't have to wait for it to recover. You can fix the economy in your household today based off of this information that you've seen. Now, here's the growth potential we talked about earlier. Decision Analysts Inc. conducted a research study, and this is what they found. 93% of respondents believe attorneys charge too much. 76% said they were hesitant to call an attorney. 9 out of 10 said that if costs were more affordable, they would seek legal advice. Nearly 90% say they do not currently have any sort of protection. 2/3 said they've never even heard of it. More than 60% said that they'd be interested in purchasing legal protection if they only were made aware that it exists. Now, they surveyed 57 million people. 60% of those said that they would purchase it right now if they just knew it existed, or at least be interested in it. This creates the perfect storm for business, a huge need, and you offer the best solution to that need. So here's the sectors that you can offer these services. Obviously, one-on-one. You can offer it as employee benefit. This is one of the most sought after benefits in our country today. Identity theft standalone, but again, a lot of those turn very serious in legal nature, so that complete wall of security needs the legal shield attached to that. Specialty plans. There's industries in this country that have very specific needs, so we've built very specific plans to fill those needs, such as truck drivers, foster parents, teachers, law officers, things like that. We also have a small business division that's out of this world. A lot of businesses are just one lawsuit away from going out of business. We offer a protection for those small businesses that couldn't afford it otherwise. You can also build a sales force if you choose to. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Now, here's ways to share the information, even if you have to do it on a part-time, spare-time basis. We have associate websites that do video presentations on your behalf. There's also good articles and literature on there if they prefer to read. Let's say that you live in Florida and you have a prospect in California. You send them to your website. They watch the video. They choose to become a member. They enroll on your site. You just earned a commission, and the website done that work for you. We also have corporate websites. As your business grows, you have the capability to grow and track that business for you and your sales force. Social media, that's a great place to advertise and market your business nowadays, as long as it's done right. Our company wants you to do it right, so they create the ads and they feed them to you. All you got to do is post them on your media. We got videos that people can pop into a DVD player that'll do a complete and total presentation. We got conference calls, flip books, open houses, and even luncheon presentations. Here's the 3 main ways you get paid. Commissions ranging from $76 all the way up to $279. What our company has done is they've set up certain production milestones, and once you reach that milestone, you just automatically get an incremental raise. Also, overrides. If you choose to build that sales force, you tell them about the profession that we offer, you help them get started, you help them get plugged into the trainings, you're going to earn overridden commissions on all the business that's written within that line of business. And also residual income on both of those. When I had my insurance agency, I started it for residual income, and I got it on my book of business. I think it's incredible that they give you residuals on your book of business, but they also give you residuals on your sales force's book of business. Now, here's a chart to kind of help you understand that a little bit. You can see at the bottom that that's a junior associate. That's where everybody starts. You're kind of in training at that point. And as you reach those milestones, which are easy to meet, by the way, we won't go into that because it's not necessary for you to understand this yet. I just need you to get excited about it. It ranges, again, from that 76 up to 279. Then you see your overridden incomes over there at the right. Now, here's some additional ways that the company shows us that they appreciate us instead of just telling us. They've got incentives that they run almost all the time to help us grow our book of business, but also to help our sales force grow our book of business. And in both cases, that's going to help your bottom line. That's going to help build your company. And then we have great promotions that are exciting. We've got incremental bonuses. We've also got monthly bonuses that you can qualify for that equal to $3,600 a year that pays out $300 a month. Or you can decide to participate in our BMW car program, and they'll bump that up to $500 a month, $6,000 a year. And yes, you did hear that right. They'll pay you $500 to drive a BMW. And then we go on just incredible all expense paid vacations, at least once a year. Now, your affordable one-time investment to launch your career with Legal Shield, you can get the tools and the websites that we know you need to launch your career successfully for only $149. Now, that's a once-in-a-lifetime fee. You can see in that picture to the right, you can see some of the things that you'll receive. the forms you need, getting started right books, training CDs, websites, all the things that you need to launch your business. But along with that, you get comprehensive classroom and online training. You get support from your sponsor, back office asset access again to track and grow your business. The Associate Support Center, that's in Ada, Oklahoma. There's hundreds of employees that are paid to answer your phone calls, help you get those questions answered, member support services, all the things, again, to help you grow your company, they put into place, and they're available to you all the time. And then you also have access to just an incredible, very creative benefits plan program that we're very excited about. It's got all the basic benefits that you would expect, such as health insurance and dental at group rates, but it goes far beyond that. Let's say that you have AT&T or Sprint cell phone. I have AT&T and have had for a long time. Just by enrolling for that benefit, I started saving $64 a month for a service that I was already using because of the unique benefits that Legal Shield offers. Now, here's your action steps. Number one, fill out the form below this presentation, and whether you have interest or not, please fill it out, and I'll tell you why. If you have no interest, that lets me know, and I'll take you off the list, and you'll never hear from me at all. And if you do have interest, I'll know if you have any questions. I'll know what your interest is. I'll know when to call you, and we'll just discuss the next steps, or I'll help you get your career launched. And that's officially the end of our presentation. I want to thank you for taking a look, and I wish you much success in whatever you choose.